The opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of the staff, management, or sponsors. I guarantee you're not hearing this kind of information on CNN or MSNBC or Fox. Before we get to our guest, Bob Chapman, let me quickly tell you what CNN said this morning. It was one of those head-shaking, shocked moments. Lori Garrett, who has written about viruses and pandemics in the past, was on CFR, who is now with the CFR, wrote this week's story for Newsweek magazine called Fear and the Flu. She says that within the RNA, the ribonucleic acid, there's DNA and RNA in our cells. There are certain items missing so that this flu that we have right now cannot go easily from person to person. See, they're now changing the story. They're saying we are seeing deaths from other causes. In other words, she admitted that the quote-unquote flu deaths are from other causes than the flu. In Mexico, they say that the flu has now been determined to have started in the United States in this pig farm, Smithfield, probably. She did not mention Smithfield, but that's a U.S. pig farm in Mexico. And said the flu originally started, though, in Sheboygan, Michigan. I mean, think about the shock of hearing this. Sheboygan, Michigan, in 2005, where a young boy was slaughtering pigs. He got sick, but it was mild. They said there were vigilant people there who figured out that he had some bizarre form of flu. Now, I don't believe that one bit. Your son gets the flu, are you going to call some vigilant government agency to come check him? Of course not. They say that this is due to animals being in huge herds where we are giving them the illness and little bits of virus of animals from human to animal. And then we need to rethink how animals are raised. She said, this is just a shot across the bow. We missed it this time. Now, if the CFR tells you that, and by the way, the CFR new global health report is out, and it's really shocking also. I don't have time to go over that, but it's on the website. Released March 17th of 2009. How convenient. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I think that is major right there, what she said. We missed it this time, but it's going to happen. And I have believed all along this is just a preparation to get people ready. They are boiling the frog. All right, let me move now to our guest, Bob Chapman, because I'm going to find out what this health crisis, what impact it has had on the financial crisis in this country, because we haven't been hearing much about banks and bailouts in the past few weeks. So I want to go to Bob Chapman, who is the editor of the financial newsletter, The International Forecaster, at theinternationalforecaster.com, where most of you by now have gotten a complimentary copy of it, either by email or snail mail. And I appreciate very much his joining us every Monday morning. Thank you very much, Bob, for joining us today on the Power Hour.
Well, you're welcome, and it's very nice to be here again. The question you've asked is multi-pronged. Number one, the market's been up. So you would think that full recovery was underway. The Dow Jones went from 6,600 to 8,200. That's quite a ways. I look at it as a correction, an upward correction, or as it's called on Wall Street, a dead cat bounce, a bear market rally. And it's been helped along by all kinds of spurious information spewed out by government and Wall Street and banking. The situation in banking is no better now than it was 22 months ago. We are seeing a lessening in the plunge in the economy and in finances than we had previously. That's all we're seeing. But we're not seeing any corrective process. There's nothing going on that's going to help anything. They're treating the disease and not the cause of the disease. And their main intention has been bailing out all financial institutions, all of whom are members of the CFR, Trilateralists, Bilderbergers, Illuminists, etc. And periodically, about every 2 or 3 weeks, they frog step Mr. Buffett up to tell us how everything's going to be okay. It's just like we don't.
Oh, you're so right. Frog step him up there. I like that.
And he's part of the Illuminati. How could he? And let me tell you something. I've been doing this for 50 years, and unless you get inside information, you're not going to make the kind of money he makes. It's as simple as that. And, of course, all the helping hands through Congress who are paid off by these various corporations. Campaign contributions is what they're framed as. And so they know what's going on, believe me. And that's how these fortunes are made, and that's how people on Wall Street continue to get filthy rich. I know. I was there for 28 years. Mm-hmm. Of course, I lived outside the box, and they called me Goldie, and they thought I was weird. You were probably right, but I was more right than they were, and they had inside information, and I didn't. But anyway, nothing has been changed. The manipulation in markets goes on. The rally in the stock market, I believe, is close to being over. I don't think we'll get a summer rally. If we do, it won't last more than 2 weeks. In the fall, the market will be substantially lower, and gold and silver will be substantially higher. The flu and how it's affected the markets. There was some emotional fear a couple of weeks ago in the market. It lasted all of 35 seconds, and that was the end of that. There's been no real effect on the market because it's rigged. And they rig it as long as they can, and all of a sudden they're overwhelmed with sellers, and it goes back down again. And so there's not been a big correction due to that, that's for sure. As far as the importance of the flu, I think you've expressed it. I agree with your view. It's a preparatory event, something that was prepared in the laboratory for biological warfare. I think they've had it for a long time. I think they have definite different pieces of strains that they can put out which will have different effects. This one, as it turns out, has been relatively mild. It's receding in Mexico. And, of course, the government will say in Mexico that it's better because we kept the kids home from school and people didn't talk to each other and nobody kissed or shook hands and so on and so forth. But it's just more government control. They're taking their orders from Washington, D.C., because they're all CFR people as well. And so it'll phase out over the next few weeks. And there'll be along later on, like you've said, Joyce, with something stronger to enable them to get more control over the people. And at the same time, our president this morning requested an additional $400 million or some insane figure to go into Pakistan. It was $400 million. And he's doing the same thing that his predecessor, whose name will not pass my lips, and he's doing the same thing. It's been a seamless exchange. There is no left and right, no Democrats and Republicans anymore. It's just them who are the intermediaries in Congress who do not answer to us at all and only to the bankers. And you saw Dick Durbin's comment this past week on Chicago television that the bankers own everybody. And I have a link on that in the next issue coming out. And so it's business as usual. I think that Americans shouldn't forget this quickly, that what our government has done is used people as guinea pigs, particularly in this case in Mexico. Whether this disease came from the farm owned by
Smithfield
in Veracruz remains to be seen.
Well, I think what we're looking at, though, is a concocted, created event that is now just unraveling. It's more of wag the dog. And they're wanting to see the response. A lot of people are now questioning this Twitter system of communication that is being used some people think, by the government to try and find out what people's thoughts are. Where are they? Are they leaning toward, oh my gosh, let's get prepared? Are they leaning toward this is a hoax, whatever? And so a lot of people are now saying that Twitter is being used, and I kind of thought so the minute I started to hear CNN promoting the use of Twitter. And if you're not familiar with Twitter, it's a way to text a message on many different subjects. I've never done it or been involved in it, but you can Twitter in just a few words what your feelings are. Now, to me, that's like, tell us what you're really thinking, and we'll put it all together and figure out where we're going to go next. That might be part of it. But this morning, when I saw Lori Garrett, though, announce that we missed the big bullet, it passed us, we're okay now, I said, it's over. It's got to be over if Lori Garrett from the CFR says that.